And then change the IP address. You should have maybe one more IP address you haven't used in your range, or a couple. Make sure you can ping. What?
I think we used them all last assignment. I ended up having to use all of them.
Did we? How big is our address space?
It's a /28.
addresses, or -2, 14. Right. So you should.
We only have.
We're only using like
we only have 7 or 8 machines.
And we also had to do a couple for the.
Yeah, but they weren't for the translation, but so you can use one of those. Okay, so change your IP address. How do you change your IP address? What file do we edit? Yeah, it's in over in Etsy, NetPlan, the only file that's in that directory. I never know what it's called. Should be the same since we're all using a clone machine. And then add an appropriate entry to DNS. Verify that GPT is currently being used by doing fdisk-l, ref disk label, and if it should show GPT. And so in this one, all the rest of the stuff after that is going to be the same. Create 600 megabyte partition. Does that be primary or extended? No, because that doesn't exist with GPT. So you just create 600 megabyte partitions and create these. So I am going to ask you to format them using the mkfs command. I'm also going to ask you to mount them using a directory called /mounts. Put entries in fstab. So I've minimized the assignment. You don't have to run discog or inodehog. You don't have to do anything with the home directory. It's just doing a few more partitions with GPT. And I think the last file systems assignment had worth about 15. This one will just be worth a normal assignment of 10. And then similar submission file. I haven't double checked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I guess I did edit that right. So anyway, submission file. So I just wanted to experiment using that new GPT partition table and see if you can compare and contrast. Questions on that one? That is, and I don't have it on the short schedule yet, you know, whatever, do it in a couple days or a week, whatever. I'll just stick it over there one of these days. Anything else before we move along? So let's review, see if we can just review some of our topics for SMTP before we go any further. So everyone have that password? So I'll come way over. I never write. Okay, SMTP, what do we know about SMTP? What have we done with SMTP so far? Or email, just email in general.
We've created our own server.
Okay, so we have our own mail server.
Can send, receive email messages.
All right, so we can send and we can receive. In terms of, I know this is going to be on the quiz, in terms of those acronyms that I told you about, what are the different actors in this whole email scenario?
There's an MTA.
Yeah, so we have MTA. What does that stand for? And
Mail
give me an example.
transfer.
And what do we use for that?
Is that the stew mail?
So XM is an example of a mail transport agent. It's in charge of transporting the mail across the internet to another transport agent. Now, Outlook or whatever is a different, what's that one referred to? MUA. We also used, I think it was MailX. I would call that, yes, fall into that realm. Yeah, Roundcube is over here. Thunderbird.
Yeah.
Did we do that one?
Yeah.
T-Bird and Evolution, those sorts of things. What other components were there? MUA, MTA. I think we had an MDA. What did that one stand for? Delivery agent. What was the example of that? XM was a combination MTA, MDA. Is there another component that was missing? Maybe, I don't know if we called them, the user itself. The user would connect to MUA. Yeah, something like that. I don't, those are the three acronyms. Am I missing one? MTA and MDA. So we kind of broke it apart just in our slides to say that the functionality of MTA is in charge of sending messages from one MTA to the other, whereas the MDA is in charge of, once I receive that message, putting it in the user's mailbox. XM takes care of both of those pieces for us. But that's, functionally, they do separate things. Okay, what else have we done with email? Yeah, we did some IMAP stuff. Okay, so IMAP, where does that fit in? Does it fit into one of those three somewhere? Yeah, I don't know. So, and maybe you could say it interfaces or connects the MUA to the MTA? Maybe? What does IMAP stand for?
Is it access protocol?
Access protocol, yep. So what else did we have to do with IMAP? What does it do? What's it for? Oh yeah, so we had to make sure there was a secure connection. So we generated a certificate, and part of that certificate was public and private keys. What, yeah, so but what is IMAP for?
That pulls down the messages that you have, accesses the messages that you currently have.
Okay, so maybe I shouldn't say retrieve, but I already started writing it. Messages, because I don't like the word retrieve because that implies that we're pulling them down, we're downloading them. We're not. POP3 is, that's the protocol used for downloading. IMAP, we are manipulating the messages directly on the server. However you want to say that. And so I think in our slides at one point, we had something like XM here, and then we had our mail user agent here, and we said that and I'll just draw arrows going this way, we're going to use IMAP to get those messages, and then when I send